Welcome back to another edition of Idology, your weekly deep dive into all things American Idol. This week brought to you by the letter M. I'm here with season 6 standout Melinda Doolittle. Melinda, how are you today? Thanks for being with us.
I'm doing great. How are you?
We've got to start our discussion of top 8 performance week by discussing the Lazaro Problem. Like, how is Lazaro still on the show, and how much farther do we think he can go? My best guess is top 7 week will be the end for Lazaro, because I think he's developing an attitude.
I thought, I said last week.
No problem.
You can be cute and cuddly with great hair and cry, and people want to vote for you in spite of your vocals, but you cannot have an attitude and be the weakest singer in the group and continue to survive.
You are never, ever, I repeat, never allowed to call Randy boo.
Learning was a tough thing for you with this
No
song.
problem, boo.
Maybe he's like it's a defense mechanism. I will give him that because people are not nice to him at all online. So I'm going to give him that, but it can wear thin really quickly.
At the end of the day, the big problem with Lazaro is that he is the 7th best singer in a group of 7 contestants. And this past week, he was the 8th best singer in a group of 8 contestants, and he survived it.
I know I'm sorry, I'm not alone anymore.
His excuse of we just learned this song and all of that, like I can't hear that anymore.
What did it know the words that well?
I cannot see this move at the end of any other song or I will scream. He's gotten to the point where he is like, it is what it is. That's what I think. And I feel like it's time.
People were lighting up the internet the next day saying, like, Devin and Burnell didn't present themselves well. But I think when Ryan Seacrest asks you,
what happened with the song?
And 1/3 of your group actually just didn't sing, and you've all been trashed by Nikki for it.
I don't know what that was, but I'm gonna act like I ain't even see it or hear it.
Frankly, Nikki's comments were hilarious, and they should have all gotten off the stage.
All 3 y'all go. Get off the stage.
It made me like Burnell and Devin even more.
Talk to us.
What I was supposed to do?
Devin ruled that song. I mean, he thankfully had learned everybody's parts.
I learned my parts. I tried saving a couple people, but
I mean, seriously, that's what beat Devin. I can't even, can we move on?
Let's
Please,
move on.
Because,
While we're on the subject of the guys' group performance, let's talk about Devin and Burnell's solos this week. I kind of felt like we almost need scores for artistic impression and technical merit, because many notes were hit, they landed their jumps, and that was great, but artistic impression-wise was a completely different story.
It's easy to trace the tracks of my tears.
he sang the living daylights out of that song, but he did not connect with it emotionally, so I will give you that.
Are we trying to avoid talking about the sounds? You're the one my heart beats form. When we got to Heartbeats Form, I just couldn't anymore. I threw a hand up, and not in a good way, and I was just like, no.
I had a couple of people at my house that have never watched Idol before that were like, they could not get past every M at the end of every line.
How I wish that you were.
However, Burnell sang that song.
But there's just so much that's not working. The sculpting has just got to end.
Mariah, like, she spells out every run. That's what she does. I tend to like just throw my arms out and I just keep doing it. Everybody has their tics. His is just really magnified and kind of grating on people right now. But I think we all have them, right? I'm really trying here, Michael.
I know.
Do not laugh.
I don't know if you're like digging yourself a hole or if you're trying to fill the hole. I don't know what's like. I don't even know what to say.
I don't know what I'm trying to do.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the ladies. Before we move on to positives, I think we've got to talk about Angie Miller.
I just wanted to have fun.
If last week was auditioning for cats, this was a cat trying to cross a 6-lane highway.
Oh,
Very sexy moments. Risque, darling, a little risque.
And wasn't it nice for you to sit across from a songwriter like Smokey Robinson? And I was like, girl, come on. If you're not gonna be real with Angie about what she just did on stage, then we need Nicki Minaj to tell you to get up and get gone from that panel. It's enough. You're getting paid way too much money to not do your job. Angie struggled with pitch. She struggled with tempo. She was like completely off the rhythm through half the song. The shocking part was we're used to Angie being solid vocally. Whether or not you're loving her interpretation or not, she's usually hitting her notes, and it was just like, how could someone who's this good perform this badly?
My mama told me, better shop around.
Not a good song choice.
No.
Secondly, not a good arrangement. What was that?
Were you freaking out when they showed her in the studio when you heard that like tinny guitar track?
That guitar, like I was like, they used a Casio. What just happened?
My mama told me.
The pitch problems, the dancing, if we want to call it that.
Don't be sold on the very first one.
I don't normally love it when Nicki Minaj gets angry at contestants, but when she was like, we didn't ask you to show us somebody new.
Don't try to come out here and give us another side. We ain't asked for another side yet.
That was pure genius, because we didn't ask for that. We really didn't.
We didn't.
We liked the Angie that we had, and I think that more contestants need to hear that.
Jordan Sparks' Bon Jovi week during your season had a catastrophe and still survived it. So it's not as if Angie is done. That's a hard one to come back from. But my fear is, I felt like she didn't know that that wasn't good.
If you are back next week, what do you think the plan will be for you?
To keep having fun.
And that scares me.
That's a really good point, and I can't even refute it. Like, you might be right.
Yeah.
And then that is very scary.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that just means that it opens the door for Amber, Janelle, Kree, and Candice. So
It does.
go ahead, ladies.
Let's talk about our favorites this week. I loved Janelle this week. I was so happy that Jimmy said he wants to take her version of You Keep Me Hanging On and put it on her first album.
Set me free, why don't you, babe?
I love that it was her arrangement. I
Yes.
love that she gave us the creativity that is so rare since Jimmy has come onto the show.
Get out of my life, why don't you, babe? Ooh.
And the vocal at the end when she was doing those runs and she sort of took the melody in such an
So
unusual
awesome.
direction, but such a good direction, like everything about it, I loved it.
Keep me hanging.
You had a different favorite, I believe?
I have a little bone to pick with you. Because I told you, I had two people at my house that have never watched Idol before, and they agree with me on my favorite, yet you gave my favorite a B. My favorite is Candice. I thought that she opened the show up and sang the living daylights out of that song.
I gave her a B+, just pointing out.
Still in the B's. Still in the B's.
You know that I heard it.
There was a new arrangement. You like new arrangements.
I do.
You like Janelle.
I give her points for creativity. Something was just ever so slightly off, energy-wise for me.
She was scared. She went first. It's scary.
I know, but I'm not going to hear excuses for Lazaro for getting his lyrics. I'm not going to hear excuses from Candice for not having her mojo all the time.
And I was just about to lose my mind. Honey, yeah.
The other two ladies in the competition, Amber and Kree, had rock solid weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little concerned for both of them. Their song choices are getting a little samey.
It wasn't the song choice for me. It's that I feel like they're kind of both giving us the same performances every week. The energy level is kind of at a low, and it just kind of stays there. Maybe you can't in those sparkly high heels. Maybe that's what's giving you the problem.
Those heels are a serious problem. Like, I'm not even joking.
Kree, she just jumped for joy, I think, and hit the floor, hit the ground.
She's almost too smooth for her own good. I think that's the thing, because it's so easy for her to hit those notes and everything. For a lot of us, when we're hitting those higher notes, it automatically gives it punch because we're working at it. But it's easy for her, and I think that she's going to have to compensate with some emotion.
You know, at the end of the day, we're probably grading Kree
On a
and
curve.
Candice on a different scale.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on, because that was an amazing performance, Miss Kree.
Those two ladies have been operating on a different level from day one, so we're expecting more. Now that Janelle is reaching that level, we give her more credit because she started out down here, and so it's a little unfair, but perception is reality on Idol. I feel like she needs to give us a little evidence, that kind of blues, like really buried alive in the blues kind of situation where she gets gritty and gets a little ugly, because I feel like it's been a little easy listening. And I think the same for Amber, it's been a little bit ballad heavy. I mean, if we're gonna get on Burnell's case for standing at a mic and singing a ballad, I think Amber also needs to think about shaking it up. Amber is probably, of all the people on Idol this season, the one with the most commercial breakout potential. I know part of it is the themes, but I feel like I need to see some youth from this girl.
It's that kid singer conundrum, like, you know, that has kind of the stage mom going on, where it's like you have to sing these really big ballads from back in the day because you're a kid, but you can do that. And it may not be stage mom or anything like that, but it's that mentality that's kind of happening around her. And I am quite looking forward to this week where they only do upbeat songs.
And either she can do it or she can't, but we need to see that she can do it, because the vocal on Lately was gorgeous, and I don't want to sit here and kvetch about her when she gave another gorgeous performance. But again, in terms of her trajectory in the competition, she needs to show us that she can be current and up-tempo.
The girl is a beast. She can. She is fully capable. She just has to do it.
All right, Amber, you've been warned. Bring it.
Come on, girl.
I'm Haley Steinfeld, and you're watching ENTV. Hi, my name is Kieran Shipka, and you're watching ENTV.
Aubrey Plaza, ENTV. I just touched it with my mouth, sorry.